Hi there. Today I'm going to process E-6. I'm going to be processing a roll of 120 and 35 millimeter. The 35 millimeter is Fuji or Provia 100. The 120 roll is Velvia 50. And I judged a photo contest for a local club and had a conversation with a photographer that has been doing this for a couple decades, but was kind of intimidated and mystified by me processing my own E6. So I've made a video about C41. E6 is also very similar. I use the Arista processing kit, and when you prepare that kit, it's a 3-part chemistry. Within that, after each step, you wash the tank 7 times. I'm going to edit that kind of stuff out of the video so it's not super boring and to just trim down the video. But when you process your E6, you need to follow all those steps. The key thing is keeping the chemistry at 105 degrees. I use an immersion circulator that I bought from Amazon a few years ago, paid like 50 bucks for it. It's a really basic version. Some of them have a lot of features. You don't need anything other than it's circulating water and holding a consistent temperature. And for E6 is 105 degrees. So with that, it's very easy. I turn it on and let it run for a good hour to make sure that it's completely distributed that heat. And then I have my film loaded on the reels, ready in the tank. I use a darkroom bag. I currently live and work out of a very small apartment, and basically everything is dedicated to my work and processing film, developing film, making cyanotypes and all processes. And so I have a little bit of a darkroom set up in my kitchen, which has my darkroom equipment, changing bag, and chemistry, so I can come home on any given day. Even if I'm at the skate park and shot a roll of black and white, I can immediately process it. If I shot E6, I can turn on the chemistry, get it warmed up and process that film, let it dry, scan the negatives later, so it's really efficient. So hopefully it's inspiring for you to learn to do the E6. I think that the color film processing is easier than black and white. There's a lot of variables to black and white, which with color doesn't matter the film speed. It just needs to have a consistent temperature, and so once again for E6 is 105 degrees. So let's get started. Alright, we are all set. The first step is a pre-wash, kind of like you fill the tank with water. I just finger test it to make sure that it's warm. Like the chemistry, that goes for 1 minute. I also don't use a timer for that. I just kind of internally do that timing. And once I dump that, then the first one is the E6 First Developer, and that goes for 6.5 minutes. Once most of the chemistry's in, I will start the timer at that point. I use the swizzle stick and Patterson tanks. So you agitate for the first 30 seconds, and then every 30 seconds from there we'll do 3 agitations with the swizzle stick. Directions and packaging, it states, I believe for 120 you can do 12 rolls, I believe. I mean, I do not follow that. I usually get about 30 rolls out of the chemistry, and I shoot more 120 than 35 millimeter. Chemistry, it's less than $1 a roll for processing, so it's pretty inexpensive. So every 30 seconds through the 6.5 minutes, you'll agitate. Okay, so I'm getting towards the end of the 6.5 minutes. Every 30 seconds I've been agitating with the swizzle stick, and that is step 1 is finished. You save your chemistry, so have yourself set up for that, and then you're going to wash the tank 7 times, and then we're going to go to step 2, which is color development. And that color developer will go for 4.5 minutes, and then we'll repeat and do 7 washes of the tank again. And then the third is the Blix, and that's why I have an apron on. The Blix you want to be careful with. It definitely can stain. This part you want to work as quickly as possible, but don't spill your chemistry or make a mess. And then we're going to move on to color developer. Okay, I just finished rinsing the tank 7 times. I did it as quickly as what was reasonably possible. Now we're on to step 2. This is the color developer. Same thing, I'm pouring the chemistry when most of the chemistry is in there. I will start the timer. This step is 4.5 minutes, so agitate for the first 30 seconds. And now every 30 seconds I'm going to do 3 agitations with the swizzle stick. And coming to the end of the color developer, second step, I'm doing my last agitation. And then we're going to save the chemistry. And then rinse the tank 7 times again with warmish water. And then we'll be on to step 3, the final step, which is the Blitz. You will get, what just happened there is it does get air as from pouring it in, and so a little bit of the chemistry gets aerated and does come out, but the bottle is still full, so that is pretty normal for me that happens, so nothing to worry about. Just finished the 7 washes for the color developer, and we are now ready for the Blix. It's the last step, or the third part of the chemistry. The Blix goes for 10 minutes, so this is a longer part of the processing. And then after this, we'll save the chemistry, and the tank will be rinsed for 5 minutes with running water, and at that point I use cold water. We are in the final minute of the Blix. Just one more agitation to get through, and then it'll go in. And then the film is going to get rinsed for 5 minutes, and then at that point I will remove the negatives from the tank, and I'll show you that as well. About a little less than 2 minutes left on the rinse, and then we'll pull the negatives out, and I'll show you what the result was out of the tank. Thank you for watching and tuning in. All right, and we are all set. If you're looking for this type of chemistry to buy, I would recommend the Film Photography Podcast Store. If you're familiar, that's great. If you're not, you should definitely check it out. The podcast is awesome. And the store has lots and lots of film and chemistry and darkroom stuff. I will say I do not use a squeegee or a sponge when it comes to negatives. You can scratch your negative, and the emulsion is kind of, I guess, soft at this stage. So I just use my fingers and just ever so lightly kind of slide my fingers through. So here's the 120, and the great thing about positive film is you put it up into the light and you get to see your images right there. So this roll is from Maine, from this summer. And then the roll of 35. Just a quick that. I hang my film to dry in another room, so. And this roll is from a point and shoot camera from the summer as well, the Grateful Dead show, so maybe I'll add a couple of those from Shakedown Street. It's from a Pentax point and shoot camera with Fuji Provia 100.